When I was 11, my family moved into a large old house on the outskirts of the city. The house had a long and mysterious history. The previous owner, Mr. Anderson, mentioned that his wife had recently passed away in the house. She had loved the house dearly and never wanted to sell it, but Mr. Anderson felt it was too big for him alone. After completing all the paperwork, Mr. Anderson suddenly changed his mind, saying he no longer wanted to sell. The property dealer reminded him that he had already signed the papers. As he left, Mr. Anderson warned us, "You'll regret buying this house." A few days after moving in, my father left for his military duty, leaving me, my mom, and my brother, Jack, in the house. From the first day, we started experiencing strange things. I often heard the sound of goats bleating. One day, we asked our neighbor if anyone nearby had goats. He said no, but we didn't think much of it and went about our lives. Our house was quite large. My room and Jack's room were on the first floor, along with a guest room for any future siblings. The living room, kitchen, and our parents' room were on the ground floor. We often found footprints around the house, and sometimes a vase would shatter for no reason. We tried to ignore these occurrences. One particularly unsettling night, I decided to sleep with my mom because I felt uneasy. Jack and I went to her room. That night, we heard a loud scream. It sounded like our dad calling for help. Without thinking, my mom rushed towards the stairs but stopped and turned back to us with a strange expression. She reminded us that our dad was still in Colombia. Just as she said that, she fell down the stairs. It looked as if someone had pushed her. I screamed, and Jack quickly called the police. We ran to help our mom and brought her back to her room. Soon, the police and an ambulance arrived and took her to the hospital. 2 police officers stayed with us that night. I cried the whole night. My mom was severely injured from the fall, and we lost our new family member that night. The scariest part was that the doctors found large bruise marks on my mom's back, indicating she had been pushed. The police investigated but found no one else in the house. It was confirmed that only the 3 of us were there. After my mom recovered a bit, we moved out. Although strange things still happened occasionally, they were not as frequent as in the old house. We tried to sell the old house, but no buyers were interested. To this day, I hope we never have to go back to that house. As weeks turned into months, the eerie occurrences only intensified. One evening, I was alone in my room, finishing up homework, when I heard faint whispers. The voices seemed to be coming from the walls themselves. I pressed my ear against the cold plaster, straining to make out the words, but they were incoherent, like a conversation happening just beyond my understanding. One night, a heavy storm rolled in, and the power went out. The house was plunged into darkness, and the only sound was the relentless pounding of rain against the windows. I huddled in the living room with Jack and Mom, holding candles that cast flickering shadows on the walls. Suddenly, we heard footsteps upstairs. Heavy, deliberate footsteps, as if someone was walking through the hallways. We all stared at each other, the fear palpable. "Stay here," Mom whispered, picking up a flashlight. She slowly ascended the stairs, each creak of the old wood echoing through the silence. Jack and I clung to each other, our eyes wide with terror. Minutes felt like hours until Mom returned, her face pale and her hands trembling. "There's no one there," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "But the footprints, they're back." We decided to document the occurrences, hoping to make sense of them. We set up a camera in the hallway where most of the activity seemed to occur. For several nights, nothing happened. But then, one morning, we reviewed the footage and saw it. A shadowy figure moving slowly down the hall, disappearing into the wall. We showed the footage to the police, but they were skeptical, attributing it to tricks of the light and our overactive imaginations. Desperation led us to seek help from a local historian, Mr. Graves, who specialized in the paranormal. He visited our home and listened intently to our experiences. He revealed that our house had a dark past. In the early 1900s, a woman named Margaret had lived there. She was known for her intense attachment to the house and had been devastated by the death of her only child. Margaret had eventually taken her own life in the very room that was now my bedroom. Mr. Graves suggested that Margaret's spirit might still be lingering, unable to let go of the place she loved so much. He performed a cleansing ritual, hoping to put her spirit to rest. For a while, the house was quiet, and we dared to hope that the nightmare was over. But one night, as I lay in bed, I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. I turned, expecting to see Jack or Mom, but there was no one there. The room grew colder, and I could see my breath in the air. Then I heard it, a soft, mournful voice whispering my name. "Emily." I bolted out of bed, my heart pounding, and ran to my mom's room. She held me as I cried, the fear too much to bear. We knew then that the house was not ours. It belonged to Margaret, and she would never let us live in peace. We moved out the next week, leaving behind the house and its haunting memories. It stood empty for years, no one daring to buy it. Occasionally, I would hear rumors of lights flickering in the windows and shadows moving through the halls, but I never went back. The memories were too painful, the fear too real. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that Margaret is still there, waiting for someone to come and share her eternal sorrow. And I hope, with all my heart, that it will never be us again. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon, and like the video. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with another story soon. Until then, bye.